Welcome to 7-6 Notes, where we're talking about percent of change. Percent of change is a ratio that compares the change in quantity to the original amount. Here is what that equation is going to look like. When we're looking for the percent of change, you're going to take the amount of change and divide it by, or put that over, the original amount. So if I were taking notes, I would highlight this to help me remember that formula. All right, if the percent is positive, then that means the percent of change is a percent of increase. If the percent is negative, the percent of change is a decrease. Let's see how this is going to look in some examples. The first example we have here says, find the percent of change from 24 students to 20 students, and state whether the percent of change is an increase or decrease. Obviously, if we're going from 24 students to 20 students, we decreased 4 students. So this is, following that formula at the top of your page, this is our amount of change, -4. What was our original amount? Our original amount was 24. So that is going to give us our percent of change. Now be aware that when we do this math, our percent of change is going to be, if we want to call that our x and put our little percent sign, it's going to be -0.1 with the 6 repeating. That's in decimal form. Now we have to multiply by 100 and say that's -16.6% repeating, -16.6 repeating percent. And it asks us to define whether it was increase or decrease, and obviously if it was negative, we decreased in our percent. So it was a percent of decrease. Example 2, Ty had 52 comic books and now he has 61. That sounds like he increased to me. Find the percent of change and then state whether it was of increase or decrease. And it says to round if necessary. So when we are looking for our percent of change, we're going to compare how much it changed. He increased by 9. His original number was 52. So when we do our math, to solve for x, we'll call this x, we end up with about, I'm going to round because it says to round to the nearest tenth, so I'm going to keep it to 3 decimal places because when I multiply times 100, I'll move my decimal 2 places to the right, and so it's 17.3%, and that was an increase. Okay. Some more things to think about when we're dealing with percent, as we've talked about in class. It's very real life applicable. A store, when they sell products, they never pay as much for them as they're going to ask for them. That's how they make money. And this amount of increase is called a markup. The store sells a product for more than it pays for the item, so they mark up the price. The percent of markup is a percent of increase. And then the selling price is the amount that the customer is going to pay. So let's look at an example where a store has marked up a price. To find the selling price find the selling price if a store pays $68 for a portable DVD player, and then they mark it up 35%. So we already know our percent is 35. So let's go ahead and put that in decimal form because we're going to have a fraction that we're working with on the right, and so it always gives it to us in decimal form. And we want to know how much did they mark it up. So we want to know our amount of change. So let's just call that amount of change. And the original price was $68. So when I cross multiply here, I'm going to find out that the amount of change is 0.35 times 68. Again, this should look familiar. That whole part equals percent times whole. That equation, it keeps coming back. And we find out that our amount of change was 23.8. That means they added $23.80 to the original. So what is the selling price? $68 plus $23.80, which gives us $91.80. That's the customer's, the selling price for the customer. All right, let's look at another type of problem. This is called a discount. Happens all day, every day. Go to the store and they're saying that things are on sale. So a discount is the amount by which the regular price of an item is reduced. So the percent of discount is a percent of, obviously, decrease. So let's see what happens at CR Sporting Goods. They're having a sale. A baseball glove has an original price of $89. It is on sale for 25% off the original price. Find the sale price. So we want to know the sale price. We need to know how much 25% of 89 is. There's several ways we could tackle this problem, but let's stick to our new formula that says percent, so 25% equals how much did it change, how much are we deducting, the amount of change over the original price, which is 89. So our amount of change equals 89 times, or excuse me, 0.25. Let's say 0.25 first to be consistent. 0.25 times 89, and that gives us a difference of $22.25. So that is my savings. That's the discount. So we'll say 89 minus 22.25 gives us a cost with it on sale of $66.75. What a bargain, what a deal. All right, there are other ways to work these problems, but I want you to be practicing using our percent of change ratio. Thank you and have a great day.